You have something I want.
Before we start today's video, check out our affiliate links in the description down below. These can make some great gifts with the holiday season just around the corner, or even a gift for yourself. It supports the channel at no extra cost of you. Thanks so much. May the force be with you, and enjoy the video.
Hello there.
This is where the fun begins.
What's up guys, Unofficial Star Wars here. Hope you're all doing well, and in today's video we have some new hints, some new reveals, and some new teases from the Mandalorian actor himself. Moff Gideon actor Giancarlo Esposito taking recently to have a few new reveals for the future of the franchise, whether or not he'll be reappearing and returning and reprising his role as Moff Gideon, as he seems to have met his doom in The Mandalorian Season 3, but if we know anything about The Mandalorian, let alone the Star Wars franchise, no one is ever really gone. That being said, Moff Gideon has disappeared and seemingly met his doom pretty much throughout all 3 seasons of The Mandalorian now at this point, so it's a kind of a common gag at this point that he comes back around for the next adventure. Of course, we're going to go ahead and we're going to hop right on into it, break it all down for you guys, everything that we know and everything that we'd be anticipating right now. Before we do though, however, grab that subscribe button if you haven't already, as we're discussing and covering all types of Star Wars related news, leaks, rumors, theories, and breakdowns here on the channel. So if you guys are into any of that, go ahead and grab that subscribe button today. Okay, so in this video we are going to be taking a quick read from comicbook.com as an overall garnering source. I'll have their article linked in the description down below for you guys to check out there as well. As a read, The Mandalorian star hints at a new vision for the Star Wars future. The Mandalorian was a game changer for the Star Wars franchise, bringing Star Wars its first live-action show, one that didn't center a Jedi character, their mythology of the Force, or the Skywalker saga, or, the Skywalker family really at least as a center part. That seemed like a massive gamble at first, but by the end of Season 1, it was pretty clear and cut that The Mandalorian had stoked fan enthusiasm to see more from the corners of the Star Wars universe. Specifically and especially around this idea of bounty hunters and the Mandalorian culture that have been previously overlooked by the films and let alone kind of glossed over in the television shows such as the animated Clone Wars or the animated Star Wars Rebels. That said, The Mandalorian has seen some diminishing returns as it's continued into Season 2 and 3 and has helped launch an entirety of a line of spin-off Star Wars shows in this own-centric kind of era and universe, such as the Book of Boba Fett and Ahsoka, and in a couple of months we'll have Star Wars Skeleton Crew all being a part of this post-Return of the Jedi era and galaxy. The Mandalorian Season 3 was a major disappointment for many fans, unfortunately though, however, and a lot were very critical when putting it and comparing it to the previous 2 seasons of the show. Then we got the surprising news that the Mandalorian main characters, Din Djarin and Baby Yoda's Grogu, were getting their own movie instead of a 4th season, while the entirety of the Mando universe corners of Star Wars would come together for a major crossover event film directed by Clone Wars and Ahsoka showrunner Dave Filoni, better known as the Thrawn movie. The Mandalorian movie, The Mandalorian and Grogu, is a different project, a different film, and by a different director, although Dave Filoni of course still has his ties and connections and involvement with it, that there would be by Jon Favreau. As The Mandalorian grows from being a Disney Plus streaming series to a major movie property, there is a renewed sense of vigor around the series. During Dragon Con last week, Star Wars franchise stars Natasha Liu Bordizzo and Giancarlo Esposito, Danny Trejo, and Manny Jacinto all appeared on stage together from all of these different kind of universes, which is pretty cool, or different shows, much rather, all appearing in different shows. Natasha Liu Bordizzo being live-action Sabine Wren in Ahsoka, Giancarlo Esposito being Moff Gideon in The Mandalorian, Danny Trejo from the Book of Boba Fett being the Rancor Keeper, the guy that gives Boba Fett the Rancor, Manny Jacinto being the Stranger or Quimar from The Acolytes, all appearing on stage together for a panel for the Star Wars franchise, which is pretty cool. So during their discussion, Esposito teased the future of Star Wars and why he feels that there is a new vision at work and being kind of set up here. I find it a little bit odd that he was with all of them, seeing that the rest of them kind of have some type of future, it would appear at the very least, or at least their characters are kind of alive, at least where we last saw them, and they're given projects and shows in different corners of the galaxy, unlike Giancarlo Esposito's Moff Gideon. So maybe that alone would hint at this idea of that his character would be alive for one, and be making a return for another. Esposito had compared the current state of a galaxy far, far away and the Star Wars franchise, namely fears of the content of oversaturation, as well as too many dangling story threads, and what is supposed to be more of a cohesive, interconnected universe, to the same struggles that Disney is also going through with the Marvel Cinematic Universe franchise and Marvel Studios, by which, if you are a Marvel fan, we have our Marvel channel linked in the description down below. Marvel Studios has since made a very public and more of a concreted effort to get the MCU turned back around and, well, back on track, being more grounded and not have as many loose ends and random kind of storylines going on, essentially. And while Esposito predicts that the same will be done for the Star Wars franchise, is more or less of a hope. He reveals all of that there in quote, "As in the MCU, Disney will figure out how to join all of these characters into one really great movie or TV show. That's my sense of where it will go," Giancarlo Esposito had explained to the crowd. The actor had gone on to add that Dave Filoni and Jon Favreau have a new vision, continuing on with the Mandalorian movie. "My sense is that it's all going to converge at one point or another, and we're going to have another set of, a trilogy or more of films." And that quote right there. First thoughts, for one, a Mandalorian trilogy. We'll talk about that in just a moment. If for anything, it almost feels like that the Mandoverse is a bit of a trilogy, exploring these different corners and different aspects of the Star Wars galaxy during this point, and in the Star Wars franchise, in the canon timeline, in that post-Return of the Jedi era, you got the Mandalorian, Ahsoka, and the Book of Boba Fett. Those were kind of like the big three. Now, that's what it was kind of anticipated. That was kind of what was being set up, it felt like, or had at least appeared to be. Now, we haven't heard of anything for the Book of Boba Fett, unfortunately, and for now we're getting Star Wars Skeleton Crew. Not that that's a bad thing, but it kind of divides a bit of that more cohesiveness and adds on to, I guess, maybe some more of that confusion and just kind of having more storylines and story threads, essentially. You can only hope that would, tie into the greater, grander story. There are, of course, those rumors and heavy implications and rumors out there that hopefully Skeleton Crew will tie into maybe Ahsoka, set things up for Ahsoka Season 2, or at the very least maybe set things up for the Mandalorian and Grogu movie, and maybe what we see go on with all of that. But as I had mentioned, he goes on to tease at this idea of a Mandalorian movie trilogy as an idea, and I definitely think that there is an idea for that. We're getting the Mandalorian Grogu movie, as I had mentioned, May 22nd of 2026. Mark your calendars. It's roughly a little over like 600 days away or something like that, like 500 and something, 590 days away. So there's that. Then there's also the Dave Filoni Thrawn movie, more of a cultimation movie. There could be very well another movie that would be a part of the Mandoverse and act as like a third installment of a trilogy. This all being said, guys, let me know all of your thoughts and opinions in the comments down below. I would love to hear what you guys are all thinking. Thanks so much for watching today's video. Of course, this has been Unofficial MCU. I'll catch you guys in the next one. Have a great one. May the Force be with you as always. Peace out.